was in a chokehold. I had to get out of it, and then he wanted to hop on my mom. I feel like childhood was significant. It was rough, and it was just like we always had to move around a lot. It was just always moving, and it was pretty traumatizing, to be honest. Most of the things that went on at home.
Like what?
Like just the abuse from my dad in all types of ways. And it sucks because it's like, even though that's not who I want to be, and I don't like any of the things that happened, it's like so ingrained that I feel like I'm part of him sometimes.
When did you stop being around your dad?
I haven't been around him for, I'm thinking, like 2 years, something like that. Something like 2 years. My dad and mom met, and it started off good, and then things went downhill from there because he couldn't control his anger and lashed out on my mom before I was conceived, and then I was conceived, and things, I think they got worse because there's a kid, couldn't handle himself. There's no way he's gonna be able to handle a kid, and it was just mom and I having to escape, and we've lived in like shelters, things like that, and then he would, I'm not sure why we trusted him, but he'd always just come back in our lives. And I guess looking back, it's like, even though you're there and you're a kid, you listen to your parents, right?
Yeah, that's what you've got.
Yeah, and things would happen, and I wouldn't really make my own judgment on what I thought happened. It'd be like I'd hear mom's side, and then I'd hear dad's side. And so, but it was bad because he'd never tell the truth. He'd always try and manipulate me and tell me it was one way. Sit.
You have any examples?
Basically trying to tell me that my mom was this crazy woman that she wasn't. I mean, she might be crazy, yeah, but my dad made her that way.
Yeah. So, what did you do to get away from that? Like, what did that process look like?
That process was just knowing what's really important, what I really need to better myself, because having that person in my life, things always get bad. Like one way or another, things get bad because he wants to get back in my life.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So what does he do? Does he like call you or what?
He's like trying to text me on Facebook. He doesn't have my phone number. And I took him off as a friend, and I've just tried to not touch it really.
Yeah.
I try not to think about it. And that seems to be working well, because I know if I try and get into it, like try to make it like just a relationship without any resentment towards mom, it's one way or another, it's gonna be bad, because he's really violent. Like, dude will go from like sitting here chilling, he's got schizophrenia, and he used to be on drugs, and I think he still does them to this day, because that's just who he is. And I mean, one minute he'll be sitting there laughing, and then the next minute he'll be like trying to kill you, literally. And at home nobody's around,
yeah,
so it's like
Yeah, that'll f you up.
He can do whatever the f he wants to.
So does he have any criminal charges or restraining orders or any of that stuff from that?
He has a there is an order of protection. Don't eat that. There's an order of protection in place. My mom and him. And I know it was getting bad because like towards the end, one of the last times I saw him when I was little, because I moved to Colorado, and that was about when I was like 14.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time I'd been in JDC, and I didn't want to do my sentence, so they were like, it's not working out with Mom. I'm like, I'll just go live in Colorado, you know. Legal weed, I don't gotta get in trouble. I go skiing too.
Mm-hmm.
So why not?
So,
But it ended up making things worse. And it almost like really ruined my mom and I's relationship, and I still don't think it's entirely healed. Just because I basically abandoned her.
yeah,
And I abandoned my ex. It started off good. And then it just, the crazy started happening. We just like, we're sitting there on the couch chilling, watching the Three Stooges or some shit, and then it's just like throwing shit at me, trying to hop on me and attack me and shit. And I don't know like what it is, like, because I'm trying to figure out like what does it, and I think it's just like something's like seriously bad.
yeah,
And then it came back to like him trying to make it like my mom was bad and that they never really had issues. It was just her creating issues. But and there's no sense in trying to argue with him because that's gonna make him mad.
yeah,
You just kind of sit there and you're like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. That's how it is.
yeah. You can't really have a relationship like that, though.
No. So my mom came to visit, and one day one of those events happened, and I was in a chokehold. I had to get out of it, and then he wanted to hop on my mom, and I was like, you know, I was old enough at this point to make my own judgment, so I like really freaked out, and the neighbors called the police. He took off. He ran off, and then we stayed in a shelter in Colorado, and then we came back here. Part of me thinks we should have stayed in Colorado.
Sounds like having some physical distance might be a good thing.
It might be, yeah. I think that was the thinking in it.
So why are
That's where I was born. I mean, when I say we moved around a lot. Like I've lived in I can't remember the rest of them off the top of my head. No, because we were staying somewhere else. Mom was, and
Okay.
we got from the shelter and we went there, and things were just different because when I was in Colorado, that's when drug addiction began for me. Because in Colorado, it's totally different out there.
yeah,
I mean, it's wild out there. I mean, you can just walk down the street and find pretty much anything you need down there. And so I came back and I was just like going through withdrawals and stole money, and eventually we just had to get out of there. So we came here. And things have been, things are better now.
that's good. How are they better?
I stopped using. I decided to I don't know, I just want to get better on my own.
Yeah,
I just want to get better on my own. In Colorado, I used to do coke and acid. Man, I was eating a lot of acid in Colorado. I'd get like a strip and be gone like 3 days. Cause I'd trip like every other day, every 2 days. So I don't know, it was like two strips, something like that a week. And then I was doing coke. Coke is a terrible habit, and that nothing will come out of that except making you really poor.
Yeah.
And it's too, like, everyone's like, oh, coke is so great, but it lasts like maybe an hour if it's really good, and then you're just sitting there like, I need more.
How did you get off of that?
The coke, that's where I made a mistake, so I couldn't get coke anymore, so I started doing meth. It lasted longer and actually did something, and I was on that for probably like 2 years, because it wasn't last summer, it was the summer before that or the summer before that, and every night it was just riding around smoking dope all day and night.
How did you stop?
I got locked up for like 4 months, and then I got out, and I'm like, I've already been clean this long.
Yeah. So, how hard was it at first when you were locked up? Was there a lot of hard withdrawal and stuff?
It was bad, dude. I mean, it was terrible. I mean, for like two or 3 weeks, I could barely function. I mean, I could not do anything. It was just, that's all I could think about.
Yeah.
Was wanting to do meth. I couldn't have a conversation because I'd just pause mid-sentence and be like, just start thinking about using.
Yeah.
You're chewing on that pizza.
So how do you feel about how that went down? Do you think there would be a better way for that to have gone down, or?
I think so, because one thing that really sucks is that it was such an extreme to such a low.
Yeah.
Like, nobody coming off of that should just quit. They need to wean themselves off.
Yeah.
They need to, like, you can't just quit like
Yeah. When you think about that now, what keeps you from using?
What keeps me from using? It's mainly the fact that I still have struggles, and like, I know that if I was to use meth, I wouldn't have them. Like, just communication is not, it's hard to talk sometimes. Like, it's just, because it doesn't feel good to talk, and it doesn't feel bad to talk. It just, everything's different.
Yeah.
So, adjusting. I'm just trying to adjust sobriety.
Do you feel like it's getting better? Like you're getting more used to this way of life?
Kinda. I think it'll eventually get easier.
Have you ever been able to see a therapist or anything about it?
Yeah, but they don't know what they're talking about, and most of them haven't even done it, so they don't.
Yeah. What was the process that led up to you getting locked up?
This is one thing that I can say about being sober. Being under the influence and being awake really hinders your ability to make any type of judgment and all.
Yeah.
And half the time you're not thinking at all. You're just on autopilot. So whatever you do really isn't your fault. It's really not. I mean, it's your fault that you took drugs.
Yeah.
But once you've been up for a little bit, it's like, I mean, you can't even think.
Yeah.
Or it's like you're thinking too much and you don't know what to do. So you just like start doing but it's like you want to do yeah, I've lost, getting locked up, I lost a friend that day. because for some reason I thought he was like trying to kill me and my mom. So I ended up freaking out on him, and then he called the police. But that's not right, because we were friends for 6 years. I thought he was trying to kill my mom and I, and so I hit him, and then he, well, first I was trying to get him out the back door. I was just like, bro, you gotta let me, like, just chill for a second, and then you can come back in. Just let me calm down. Like, I know you haven't been doing it too, but I know that you saw the pipe in you saw me put the pipe in my pocket, so you know that I'm up to something. So just, like, maybe he didn't understand.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but he wouldn't go outside, which I think that should be, it's too late now, but if you've told somebody to leave your house like half a dozen times and they still haven't left, can't you do something about it? And came outside, and cops just ended up showing up, and then I ditched the dope. Smart on my part. Actually, that was a bad thing that I did, and I forgot about this fine detail. So I ended up burying the pipe I was using somewhere, and I got out, and it was still there. And I went like a week, and then I'm like, I don't want to do it as soon as I get out, and then I did it, and it honestly, like, it didn't even do anything at that point. That was the one weird thing about it, is that it didn't even do too much. It's like all that fiending, and then I got out and it didn't even do anything. So I got a terroristic threatening charge that day, controlled a substance because I had a hit of acid in my wallet, and then some kind of physical assault bullshit. I think that's all I got. That was like my best friend.
Yeah.
And we met at a therapy place, and I thought that was kind of cool that we both had, like, because we kind of struggle with some of the same stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Not addiction, but just like past stuff, past traumas. And
yeah, it's good to have somebody you can relate to encourage to be better.
Yeah. And he seemed like he needed a friend. I know I needed a friend, so I'd always try and get on like a level with him. I'd be like, I love you, bro.
Yeah.
And then he'd just be like, he wouldn't know what to say, because that was he was not ready for that yet at all.
Yeah.
I mean, he was really still struggling.
Yeah, very guarded.
And now it's like, I don't know if he really needed me as a friend or if he even wanted me, because why would he switch up like that? And then I've tried to get in contact with him. He doesn't want to.
Well, people don't always make the best decisions. We're all human. We all make bad decisions.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So, do you feel like there was ever a point where having a friend who had been through similar experiences made you any worse for wear? Like, did it cause you to fall into any bad mindsets or encourage you to use or anything like that?
Now, having people that have like gone through the same things is helpful.
Yeah.
But if you're struggling with addiction, you don't want to be around people that still use.
Yeah. Did he use?
Did he use?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Okay.
He didn't use. He was like the one friend that didn't use, is the thing, and that's why it sucks that he's not my friend anymore.
Yeah. So do you have friends right now who don't use?
I've been staying away since I got out, and most of them got locked up anyway, or I just haven't been able to get a hold of them. So I guess I just caught myself in a lie right there, but yeah.
So, you're currently on house arrest, right?
Yeah.
So that's because of the situation that got you locked up and all that. So, what's that experience been like for you?
Being on house arrest,
Yeah.
man, that sucks. That sucks because it's like you're free, but you're not.
hmm Are they doing like regular drug tests on you, or
Yeah, it's a pain.
do those tests help keep you motivated to stay clean, or no?
It makes
effect,
me
or-
feel like I have to, and that's what I don't like.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if I do this, I want it to be on my own.
Yeah, and I think that's a good way to be. Does it? So do you ever feel? Does it ever make you feel like spiteful, like rebelling, just because they're trying to make you do that?
I mean, I really can't because I'll get sent to DYS, which that's like, that's Division of Youth Services, and you'll stay there until you're 21. I mean, it used to, but I really can't. Like,
Yeah.
Like the judge said, the next time he sees me in the courtroom, I'm going.
So what are you doing to recover from everything that's happened to you?
Exercise. Exercise is important. I just got a dog. He helps
Yeah.
because I have to go outside and walk him, and so we're both getting exercise, and that's cool.
Yeah.
Besides exercise, I've been going to church. That's helpful, but if you don't really want it, if your heart's not in it, it's not going to do nothing. Like if you
Yeah.
don't seriously call out to God and be like, look, I need help. I need you to conform me to the way you want me to be.
hmm
And even then, you're still going to struggle.
Yeah.
But it does make you feel less alone.
So, have you learned any other coping strategies or tools that you're using to help relieve stress, or just help some healthy introspection or anything like that?
Besides exercise, not church, not really.
Okay. I mean, those are good ones. I'm just wondering, it's always good to have as many tools in your toolbox as you can.
Yeah.
So, any advice for anybody who's going through anything you've been through?
Through any type of abuse, I would say don't share it with people, but don't keep it in, if that makes sense. Like what I'm saying is that everybody has cards that they've been dealt,
hmm
and you just got to make the best of your hand. Like you got to put yourself in situations that you don't like to get better.
Yeah.
Because I know I've improved. I can tell that I've improved. I mean, I'm holding a conversation right now.
Yeah.
Maybe not that well, but I actually can.
Yeah.
I'm trying to. Go to church. Get involved in a church. Get involved in a church. For real. Because that's a lot. That's a thing that I was. That's why I took psychedelics, because I'm like, I want to get in touch with like spirituality, and I want like God, but really the answers are right there in front of you, and it makes you feel like kind of the same, because you have to go through the same kind of mental gymnastics that you do. Like, is this morally right or wrong,
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that.
So, where do you see yourself in a few years?
In a few years, hopefully just, well, I'm gonna have a car and saving up money.
Okay. What do you want to? What do you want to be? What do you want to do? In the ideal world, if everything goes perfectly, what would you be doing? Who would you be?
If I had what I wanted, wife and kids, but that's you mean a few years. I guess just like money, solid girlfriend, that type of thing. That'd be lit.
So, financial stability and a romantic partner.
Yeah. Yeah.
That makes sense.
And me and him are gonna train. Me and him are gonna. I hope to be bigger in a few years.
You mean like because of working out?
Yeah. I do. I want to get bigger. I'm tired of being skinny. I've been skinny my whole life. If you are somebody that struggles with addiction, try and, because usually it's to cover up trauma
Yeah.
or to like get through something. If you're just the type of person that likes to get high just for the of it, well then you need to go get a hobby or get a girlfriend or something, like, man.
Yeah. Yeah, they say to break a habit, you need to make a habit. You don't just get rid of a habit. You got to fill that with something, because that if you remove it, there's just the blatant absence there, and what else is there to fill it with than the thing that you just got rid of?
Yeah. No.
Well, thanks for being vulnerable. I appreciate it.